Who's ready for some football? Who's ready for the Rose Bowl? Who's in Bloomington with his wife ready for the Rose Bowl? Only one day away, and then Indiana gets its close-up in Pasadena in front of God and everybody, and they're going to whoop the living hell out of Alabama because Alabama is a mediocre team. I think outside of the weird two, those being Tulane and James Madison, Bama is the least of the teams. Now, we're going to see about that tonight because Ohio State plays Miami, and Miami is damn close to being the worst in the tournament. But I think that Alabama is, and I think that Indiana absolutely whoops up on the Crimson Tide. They're just not very good. Decent quarterback. Ty Simpson is decent, but he's not great. The receivers, they're pretty good, but they're not at the quality of Ohio State. The offensive line is leaky. They don't run the ball well. That defense, now the defense is kind of real, but Indiana's offense might just be a little bit more real with Fernando Mendoza and Black and Hemby and Cooper being healthy. That's awesome. We're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about the Colts. We were at the Colts today, talked to Riley Leonard, talked to Phillip Rivers, and trying to get a beat on what this team is going, and Shane Steichen, trying to get a beat on what this team is going to be come Sunday. This is Inside Indiana Sports Now, live from Bloomington, the upstairs pub right behind me, and of course, world-famous Nick's right over there. I'm going to make you dizzy for a second. What we're waiting for, right, we'll get to all that, but we're brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best dentist in the world. Give him a call, 317-849-2933. You got a hole in your mouth? Dr. Mike's got a hole in his schedule. Ask for Julie. Tell her that Kent told you to call. Make sure and become a member. Membership has its privileges. We are going to be here tomorrow night, hopefully getting some Rose Bowl champion swag straight off the presses that we can give away next week. That'd be nice as we await, maybe, and I'm telling you this isn't arrogance. I have cautioned all of you and cautioned myself all week long about being arrogant. I'm not being arrogant when I say that Indiana is going to win this game. Indiana is going to win this game because they're the better football team. And high-intensity games like this, high-leverage games like this, usually go to the team that makes the fewer mistakes. That is going to be Indiana tomorrow because that's what Indiana does. Indiana plays mostly mistake-free football. So become a member, I guess, is the moral of that story. And then become a subscriber. Hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing to subscribe, so no reason not to subscribe. And then you want to smash the like button. And you want to make sure, if you make a donation, sure, it's nice of you, that's wonderful, but include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel, all right? We are in Bloomington. We are in Bloomington because I didn't want to go to Pasadena because I find Los Angeles confusing in the abstract because I've never been there. So I didn't want to go to Pasadena. Where I wanted to go was somewhere with Julie where we could watch the game with a bunch of IU fans, and this place, the upstairs pub, that works for me. It's going to work for Julie. She's buying some swag, some IU swag. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about IU and that Rose Bowl. What we got on Sunday is we've got the last chapter of a 17-chapter book. This is the Colts in 2025. The Colts in 2025 started out like a house of fire, and they fulfilled all positive expectations. And then, over the previous 8 games, first 8 games, 7-1. The last 8 games, 1-7. They fulfilled all expectations in the negative. So what's going to happen at the end of this season? We'll talk about that when the season's over. Until then, what we're talking about is Riley Leonard and that Colts offense. You got a couple of guys looking for milestones. You've got Jonathan Taylor, who is nipping on the heels of the leader in the NFL, in rushing yards, 59 yards behind the NFL lead. So he's going to try to make that up and become the NFL rushing champion for the second time in his career. Alec Pierce, 129 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving. That would be worth some money to him. You become a 1,000-yard receiver, and all of a sudden you're kind of in a different category. You got to hope at this point, number one, that Alec gets to 1,000, and then number two, that the Colts have the sense to re-sign Alec Pierce, because Alec Pierce is one of the best deep threats in the NFL. Unless all hell breaks loose on Sunday, Alec Pierce is going to wind up leading the the NFL in yards per reception at over 20. He's at 20.3 right now. So you've got those things to watch, and then you've got Riley Leonard. There's been a kind of a group of Colts fans who have thought that Riley Leonard maybe should have been the starting quarterback all along. Now, I think those people are a little bit deranged because this is a complicated offense. Riley Leonard, while being a very, very smart guy, he's got to figure out how to play against NFL defenses. He was not entirely without positives when he mopped up after Daniel Jones tore that Achilles against the Jaguars. He did some good things. We'll see what happens on Sunday. This is the best defense in the NFL. The Houston Texans are really, really, really good. They lead the NFL in yards against. They lead the NFL in points against. This is a team that defensively gets it done and puts pressure on the quarterback. So this is going to be a hell of a test for Riley Leonard. But I'll tell you what he brings to this party. Enthusiasm. Real, genuine enthusiasm. Riley Leonard has a zest for life, a joie de vivre, as it were, that is kind of contagious. And I think he's going to compete his ass off on Sunday afternoon in Houston, and we'll see what he does. I think it's going to be kind of fun. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to learn from them. Is he going to make enough good plays to get the Colts over the hump against a Texans team still playing for something? We're going to find out. Now, tomorrow we're going to find something else out, and the whole country is, I think. And what the country is going to find out is that the Indiana University Hoosiers are the best team in the country. I also think that tonight people are going to find out that the Ohio State Buckeyes are the second best team in the country. And they may be on a collision course for a national championship. I think Ohio State wins by a gob. They are 9-point favorites tonight. That 9 points, that's a gift. A gift, I'm telling you. Go Indiana, go Riley, and go us at the Upstairs Pub. Am I right or am I right? Fernando Mendoza, the better of the two quarterbacks. Ty Simpson is not bad. The receivers, that Cooper is healthy, that's a good thing. From a health perspective, the only thing that Indiana lacks for tomorrow is having Stephen Daly healthy. With Stephen Daly healthy, this game could get out of hand, and out of hand in a hurry. I think Indiana wins. I think Indiana's going to cover. They are an 11-point favorite or a 7-point favorite. I saw a guy who does statistical breakdowns and kind of loads the numbers into his bat computer, and what spat out was Indiana wins by 11. I think that's a little low too. I think Indiana gets over on Alabama and reveals Alabama to be the team that it is, and that's a team that is lacking where it comes to the strengths necessary to contend, not just win, but contend for a national title. I think Indiana puts this away. And I think the second half is going to be a coronation for Indiana in Pasadena tomorrow. We'll see. We'll be here. We'll be here all day. Look at that. They open it. Doors open at 9. I don't know if I can do 7 hours at the Upstairs in advance of the game itself. I don't know whether I've got that kind of stamina. I don't think we're going to find out. I think we're going to be a little bit more reserved in our pre-gaming, because pre-gaming for 7 hours, that's a little bit aggressive, but I think Indiana gets this done. Pacers played today. That game should be wrapping up. I have no idea what happened with the Pacers and the Magic. We're down here. I don't know where we're going to get dinner. Julie wants to get dinner. I don't even know if they have food I've never eaten at the Upstairs Pub. I have eaten at Nick's. I don't mind eating at Nick's. I don't mind eating at the Crazy Horse. We're going to find someplace to eat. We're going to find someplace to maybe wet our whistle, get a little bit used to the climate here, the environment, and then tomorrow we get after it for real. We are Breakfast with Kent is going to be a little bit later than usual. We'll do one video tomorrow. We will not do an Inside Indiana Sports Now. We will do Breakfast with Kent, and then we'll do something just a little bit later. All right? That's kind of a pregame for the Rose Bowl. Have a great night. Be safe. Don't be a dummy. All right? You want to know how you're the dummy at a party or at a bar? You look around. and you don't see anybody who looks like a bigger idiot than you. If you don't see a guy who's acting the fool bigger than you, you're the guy acting the fool. That's a tip from your old Uncle Ken. And don't drive. Even sober, don't drive, because half the people on the road tonight are going to be loaded. So they're loaded, you're sober. It doesn't make any difference that you're sober, right? Don't drink and drive, and don't be affected by those who do. All right, we will talk to you tomorrow. I can't wait